Hey guys, in this video, I want to critique a video and a detail that I did several years ago now and tell you what I would do differently, products and tools that I would use that are different, and approach things a little bit differently and why. So the interior detail that you're looking at me doing here was an interior of a Toyota Land Cruiser, and this is actually a maintenance client of mine, but this particular car was not necessarily on a maintenance schedule as it was getting sold and all that sort of stuff. But as I look back, and of course I'm growing and learning like everybody else, the first thing that I would have changed about this interior detail is, number one, I would have rolled down all the windows before I actually started the detail. The only reason for that is because no matter what kind of all-purpose cleaner you're using, oftentimes it's so easy to get that overspray on the interior windows, and let's say it takes me 2 hours to detail the interior, then I've got this overspray sitting on the interior glass for like 2 hours, and sometimes if you're not careful with certain windows in certain cars, that can actually really start to stain the windows, and you might find yourself up a creek without a paddle because you don't have the right chemicals or tools to actually get rid of it. So rolling down all the windows before you ever start is a really easy way to just avoid that problem altogether. The second thing that I would change is with detailing the door jambs in this situation. Number one, I would replace my long handle pressure washer wand with just a short handle MTM wand. Those are way easier to maneuver, a lot easier to use in a situation like this because they're really short and I can just hose it down really quickly. I can also get in those cracks and crevices that I can't get with that huge long wand. So I'd replace that kit pressure washer wand immediately. The second thing I would do is focus less on getting this area really clean. It sounds kind of weird, but over time as a detailer, I've really learned how there's certain areas that you really just don't have to worry about as much as others. The door jambs are definitely one of those areas. What I mean is, yes, we can sit there and detail them all day long, but oftentimes you can't get in every single crack and crevice, and one of the best things to do is just get at a surface level all that dirt knocked off, let it dry, and then dress it over the top with something like the no rub coating from P&S or something like Stoner's Trim Shine or More Shine Tire Shine. It easily covers up some of that surface dirt or just uneven or ununiform appearance. The other problem with door jambs when you're cleaning them to the nines is that you sometimes clean away some of that grease that's necessary for the door to open and close. And one of the other products that I would replace in addition to the long pressure washer wand is the detail brush. I like using detailing brushes for the door jambs, but I would use that smaller, easy detail brush in addition to that because it would cut my time basically in half. Now for this next part, I'm kind of walking a line of sometimes I do this and sometimes I don't do this, but oftentimes rather than using a steamer on that console area where those buttons are, where the transmission is, and where the cup holders are when they're really dirty, especially in cars like this Land Cruiser, oftentimes what happens is they've got all these seams in that area where crumbs and dirt and debris get stuck down in there, and because it never gets detailed, it's really hard to get those areas clean with just like a little toothpick or something like that. You kind of need the steam, but given that there's a bunch of buttons down there, I would probably just use my chemical, agitate with my detailing brush, and I'd implement a microfiber towel with an air compressor rather than the steamer, or at least use the steamer a little bit less. It's just a risk management tool. Now, once again, sometimes I still use the steamer in the same exact capacity because I'm able to kind of get around these areas that I want to make sure I avoid. I've been doing this a long time now, but an air compressor probably would have sped me up in a lot of ways here because the steam isn't totally necessary, and it does also kind of give you a lot to clean up in terms of just having a lot of leftover water. Now, the next area that I probably would have changed here in this detail just to speed me up is I probably wouldn't use a detail brush to agitate areas like the console leather or the leather seats. When you're using a detailing brush, you only have so much surface area that you can cover, so it's a great way to agitate something that's kind of fragile like a leather seat. But the reality is, in a situation like this, particularly with the passenger side and the driver's side leather seats, because they're not detailed on a regular basis and because it's leather and it's not maintained, it starts to crack. And when you just scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub with a detail brush and the chemical, you're not really making enough difference just because you can only clean it so much before you're going to start to clean away leather because, again, it's starting to crack, it's starting to peel. And oftentimes a much easier way to address this and get the same result is just using a little bit of cleaner on a damp microfiber towel, wiping it down and moving on. The back seats don't need that type of attention because they're just not as dirty. So it would have been far quicker probably to get the same result just to use a damp microfiber towel, spray it with my leather cleaner and wipe it down like that, leaving the detail brush for the seams and potentially blowing them out with a steamer because, again, the debris gets really tight in there, particularly on the driver's side leather seat, and a steamer can be a really effective way to do a little bit more than an air compressor can do in those seams when they're not detailed on a regular basis. Now, the last thing that I change about this detail is the interior windows. As I'm cleaning them with just a regular microfiber here, I would definitely switch to a waffle weave microfiber towel. The simple reason for that is just because even when you're using a totally new microfiber towel that's like 300 to 350 GSM, it's a very, classic microfiber towel. Again, like I said, even if it's new, it will leave some lint on that interior of the window when it kind of catches the alcohol and water solution you're using or just the glass cleaner that you're using. And so anytime I'm doing interior windows, I basically use my exclusive waffle weave towels that are for windows, right? I don't use them on anything else. And that's just another way to kind of avoid some of the common pitfalls that detailers experience with windows. And not that I experienced it here, but certainly in many other situations I have. And it's a lot easier to just use the right towel from the get-go, not leave any lint on the window, and just get the results you want in the first place. So guys, those were some potential pitfalls that you might fall into and that might speed you up if you avoid doing things that way. Again, over the years, I'm always kind of subtly changing my interior and exterior detailing strategies to become faster, to implement different products. So hopefully this highlighted some areas that maybe you guys can go implement some quicker strategies getting the same results in your own detailing world. If you like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button so that I know that it was helpful to you, because that's the only metric I have to see that you guys actually liked this content. And as always, from Luke here at Wilson Auto Detailing, thanks for being involved, keep working hard, and I will see you guys in the next video.